guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be working on some projects out in the garden, but I am inside the Hartley at the moment because it was a bit breezy. Looks like it maybe has died down a bit since I came in here. I meant to start the project right away and show you the plants, but then I got distracted by the floor in here and had to vacuum it real quick. Anyway, there's Russell. Hey, buddy. These, or this, I've got 3 more in the gator, is the boxwood we're going to be putting in the 2 containers that flank this bench and this bench. I love this variety because they naturally stay a little bit smaller without pruning. So 3 by 3, which they're going to look a little small in these containers to begin with, but I'm just hoping that we can let them kind of grow a little bit. They also have a very delicate leaf, so just a bit more narrow, and they maintain a deeper green during the winter time. My parents have a whole bunch of these at their house, and I've always loved these. They're also hardy down to a zone 4, which a lot of the other boxwoods we plant are hardy to zone 5. So when you're putting plants in containers and you're wanting them to be winter interest, wanting them to survive the winter, it's best to choose something that's rated 2 zones colder or 2 zones lower than your current growing zone, which we are a zone 6. So this being a hardy to a zone 4 gives us that nice buffer. But I think that these are gonna be so, so nice. Let's go take a look. Already some soil in here, which is perfect. Of course, they're gonna be a little bit lower, but I think they're gonna look really pretty. But more importantly, they're gonna be a nice, deep green, evergreen structure, and they will not pull focus from the big color here. I feel like if we would put big color in here, it would be too much. So we want to let this shine and let those still be beautiful, but a little bit more understated. Here are the other 3 and my extra potting soil. Let me hover on this tag in case you want to pause it and read up a little bit more. Okay, we've got a kneeling pad. Let me grab my soil. We'll get the first one done here. Gosh, I know we just looked at the parterre the other day, but I just am so thrilled with this mix of plants. They're so pretty. Note to self to start more of these bullseye salmon from seed next winter. Okay, I actually can still see a little fertilizer in this container at least. And I do have drip run into this container, but we don't have drip set up really that close by. We might trench some over here at some point. Rock. Ooh, look at those roots. That's intense. When a root ball looks like that, I will give it a little bit of a rough up. There we go. Oh, oh, so pretty. Is that low enough? Yeah. Just packing that soil in around the root balls as tightly as I can. No air pockets. That's what we want to eliminate. Oh, that looks so cute. Okay, 1 down, 3 more to go. Russell, what are you doing? Something scare you? Hey, buddy. Oh, ooh, there's a wasp. Ooh, is there a wasp nest under here? Yes. Oh, wasp nest. Gotta get some spray. Yeah, check that out. Can you see it? Right where people sit. Let's see if we can get a view from underneath. Okay, we can't let that go on. All right, no more wasps right there. Oh, they turned out so pretty. It just makes it look finished right here, which I really appreciate. I love having no empty containers back here at this point. But none of the containers around this parterre pull interest, except for the urns, which is fine. I just didn't want all of them to be full of color, so I think this is just so nice. So now we're gonna have to just figure out drip, which will probably either go underneath the bricks here, because there is drip tubing. We might have to bring a piece of it though down this way, or we could go up underneath the bricks here and tap into this drip system here. I've still got some of those green tower boxwoods, you know, the ones we planted along the parking area, the ones that get, what, 9 feet by 2 feet, and I am considering planting some right here. Like, wouldn't it be pretty if I did 1, 2, 3, kind of in line with this boxwood hedge possibly? I thought about doing them here first, but if I did 3 taller things here, and then I could fill this full of, like, I don't know, Russian sage or some type of beautiful sedum, or even some hydrangeas in here would be absolutely beautiful. And then I could repeat that right here, 1, 2, 3, and then do the same thing, and then we could back the benches with something different. Or maybe in the end, like, we could connect and do like a swoop around and then plant something just really beautiful that's taller behind the bench. We did our math wrong when we put in that green tower hedge up there, so we ended up with, I think, 15 extra, which we would need 12 for this project, so why not, right? We could try it. I was gonna just plant the green towers out just in random spots in the flower beds in case we lose one in the hedge, then we can maybe go dig one out and then replace it, which that would still leave us with 3 extras we could plant out for those purposes. I don't know, I'm gonna think on that one. The next thing we're gonna do is grab a couple of trees. Erin wanted to get some trees in the ground today. So great day for that, I guess. Nice and blustery. I do, in the end, want to show you 2 areas I planted last night with annuals, utilizing quite a number of the 2025 annuals, and I didn't film it because it was late and I was just it was the weekend and I just wanted to, you know, go out. I always feel weird though when I do projects, especially with this one. I did quite a bit of plant removal and tree pruning, and the whole time I was thinking I should have a camera for this because this is a little bit transformative, and maybe you know, some of your flower beds are starting to look a little bit overgrown, which is what was going on in this spot. Anyway, I'm going to show you those areas. I did take a little before with my phone so we could see what they look like. These rose trees are looking beautiful. Remember when we planted these? Look at the blooms. I'm going to have to look up the name because I can't remember. Is it like not Madame Sweet Blue? That was a shrub we planted. Can't remember, but boy, put some double white super bells right below them, and they are just so beautiful. Love it, and they have such an amazing scent. Okay, time for trees. Okay, well, we've got our first load here. I think that these are gonna go into the south garden area, and then we're gonna come out and plant some of these other ones out. Probably, what do you think, on which side? This side?
Either side.
Wherever?
Yeah.
So far, we have that forest pansy redbud I picked up a while ago. It's kind of the multi-trunk there. I like this because it doesn't get massive, 20 by 25. And then we have, this is a Carolina Sweetheart redbud. And it's done surprisingly well in the full sun. It's a little bit of an understory redbud, both of them really are. But I just think it's such a pretty shrub form. And then we've got a Jackmanai birch multi-trunk that's really tall, and I hope it doesn't fall over on the way over to its spot.
Root ball.
That is a big root ball. Can you get the tractor in where we want to put it? Or we have to dig that spring grove out, so we may as well just hand dig the hole, huh? All right, well, we're gonna go set these around and see where they might fit in. And we left the kids over in the raspberries. They love the fall golds. That's what they're working on picking right now. What are you doing, Samantha? To what? Oh, to Benjamin? Is he over there? Are you fatigued, Benjamin? Yeah. Oh, she's got it on. Oh boy. So we were actually thinking that that 4-trunk birch might look really pretty right about where this spring grove arborvitae is. Here's the reason why. When you stand back here, you don't really see that spring grove because of it's the same as the raspberries right behind it. We thought it might be nice to provide a little bit more vertical interest in the end because that tree will get bigger and it will have the bright white bark in the wintertime. I don't know, I think it would be really pretty right there. I did plant these though, Erin, to kind of match, and I don't know if that really matters because nothing matches.
Oh, sure.
But maybe we could just pop it down on the ground and see what it looks like. Worth a shot. Yeah, I think that redbud looks beautiful right there. Just kind of fills in that space a little bit. I had it between the first two evergreens first, but I think that that would be a little bit too much. So I think having it closer to the birch trees, I don't know, I just feel like it's in a good spot. It's a good spot, Erin. And the birch tree is gorgeous right there. I love that. So pretty, which means we will move the spring grove probably out to the dirtlands, and we'll come in with something skinnier. Maybe we can do some sort of boxwood something, you know, that can handle the shade and the sun. Well, we know our first two holes. Let's do it. You know what, at this point it's going to be a lot of just setting trees down, standing back looking at them, and then planting them. So we'll get all of that done, and in the end we'll go around and tour all the trees that go in today, as well as the couple of areas I was talking about that I planted annuals in. So here we go. Also, I did bring out a hat. I'm not gonna wear it probably. Alright guys, we are done for the day. We got 8 trees planted out here in the Dirtlands and 2 planted in the south garden. So we're going to start in this back corner, work our way toward the house. We'll head out to the south garden, and look at the annuals while we're out there as well. So the first one here, which we planted it with the slant toward the wind, and I saved all the tags so that you could pause if you want to. This is a tulip tree right here. This is one that Aaron really wanted to plant in the garden, see how the wind is pushing it straight. And if we plant it like that, sometimes we don't have to stake them because the wind just naturally wants to make the tree more straight. Instead of if you plant it really straight, it makes the tree lean toward the east there. So anyway, these have a really neat shaped leaf. Look at that. Just very, well, maybe look at that. If I can get them to stop blowing in the wind. Look at that right there. Really cool, almost looks like a t-shirt. So this one grows 60 feet tall by 30 foot wide, bright yellow fall color, and really big, beautiful, like buttery yellow blooms on them. And we just got through kind of doing a staycation sort of thing in Boise with Aaron's family. We stayed at a hotel where they had a whole bunch of these tulip trees planted. And among all the other trees, these looked like the biggest, most glossy leaved, nice green, healthiest trees that were around. So that further solidified Aaron's desire to have one of these and try it out. Now this one is hardy to zone 5 and kind of grows in an ovalish shape. And we do still plan on doing evergreens all along here, and I'm gonna point down so I don't point in our neighbors' backyards, but all the way. We've got some arbs right there. That way we have a nice evergreen backdrop. Next up are the trio of birch trees. And I forgot to save the tag for these. These are a European white birch. I don't remember the zone, but I want to say these grow like 30 by 20-ish. I could be wrong by like a little bit. But anyway, beautiful electric yellow fall color, white bark as the trees age. And I love to see birches planted in clumps like this. And you can plant them even closer together. It's just hard to do that with the auger. We could have done the 36-inch auger and put all 3 root balls in the same hole, which I have done before. But since we have more space to fill up out here, we decided to kind of spread the clump out just a little bit, but I think it's just so pretty. And moving down the lane here, you can see where we stopped mulching. It looks so nice where the mulch is. Oh my goodness. But we did a Rivers Purple Beech here, and then Spring Grove Arborvitae. That's the one we dug out this morning. This is so funny. We had 2 on the tree racks. I had no idea that they were so different in size, but we have like tall, medium, short. It looks like we did it on purpose. But out here, it honestly doesn't matter. These are going to become the backdrop and just kind of a nice green accent, and you won't even notice the difference, and they'll all catch up with each other too. But these are a zone 5 through 8, 25 to 30 feet tall, 12 to 15 feet wide. Same ones we used on the fence line over there. And the Rivers Purple Beech. Oh, we just planted one of these in the south garden where the sumacs came out. This one gets 50 feet tall by 40 foot spread. Zone 5. So pretty. And they maintain color throughout the heat of the season. And I mean, out here you can see it's 100% exposed. There's not a lot that's going to protect it. So this is going to be a good variety of beech anyway to handle that. They've got kind of like a green purpley bronze leaf. And I love their growth habit. They're just so beautiful. Okay, we're all the way at the other end. That's where the last 4 went. So we've got a prairie rose crabapple right here. And then also 3 Hollywood junipers, which these I do not have a tag for. They did not have a tag, but we've had these since last year. I just didn't get around to planting them last year, but I think they're going to be so perfect in this location. 15 feet tall by 10 feet wide, and they're just tucked in by the heritage birch. There's a pine, and there's also a blue spruce here. We just wanted something to create a green backdrop, but I love the form of these. They almost look kind of windswept, more coastal, instead of so tight in their formation. But junipers do real well here, so I'm very much so looking forward to these. And this one in particular, you can see the juniper berries. Love that. And then this prairie rose crabapple. I posted a little video of the blooms when I bought this tree. They look like rosebuds, and they're just so gorgeous. So it's hardy down to zone 4, 20 feet tall by 18 foot spread. And it does say that it's usually fruitless. So, you know, unless it's maybe gone through a stressful period or whatever, sometimes they'll put push fruit during years like that. But this one we can just enjoy the blooms and most of the time not have to have any of the fruit. However, I love the fruit. Unless I had a location like maybe around a swimming pool or something like that. I probably would never opt for a crabapple that didn't have fruit on purpose, unless it's just got the most gorgeous flowers you've about ever seen, like this one. I love the fruit on crabapples just because it adds so much for winter interest and it adds so much forage for wildlife, birds. Okay, we're gonna head to the south garden. Okay, so here are the first 2 trees we started off with today, and I cannot get over how much I love this birch tree right here and how much of a good move it was to get rid of the arb right there. Oh, it's just so pretty, and seeing some vertical interest there, and that's just going to create a beautiful canopy. And I'm not in fear of the berries not getting enough light. It might block a tiny bit of morning light on this side, but they're going to get pretty much, I mean, it's on the south side of the tree, and they're going to get a lot of sun. Looks like Paul is working on the drip currently. I think he got that one done. He's working on the forest pansy red bud. I can see the landscape staples over there, but look at how this one fits in. I think that's so pretty. Again, this one will grow 20 to 25 feet, but you can keep them pruned down fairly easily. And I might do that. Like maybe let this one get 10 to 15 feet taller. So I don't know, we'll just have to see how things go. But I love its structure right there. Hardy to zone 5. The flowers on it are just amazing. I was hoping that there was a picture of the blooms on the tag, but there is not. But they are just the most rosy magenta, like so bright in the spring, and I think that's going to be really pretty in this area because there are some spring bulbs in this space, but that's pretty much it for spring interest in this area. That'll be a beauty. And then the Jackmanii right here, white bark, love that, 40 feet tall by 30 foot spread, hardy to zone 5, yellow fall color. I love this. And then we've got a prairie rose. In fact, this is one of the areas of annuals that I wanted to show you. This is not a prairie rose, a prairie fire crabapple that gets a little bit more on the orangey side of things in the fall. So I think that'll be really pretty to have the 2 different colors. But last night, I can show you what it looked like before. So I just grabbed my phone and started here by the rock pathway and just walked down this way. It just was getting too congested. There were too many Amsonia at the end that were like kind of encroaching on things. The prairie fire crabapple needed to be trimmed up horribly bad, and there were a bunch of holes and stuff where I had dug some things out, so it just needed a little bit of a revamp. So this is how it looks after. First of all, decongesting the area right beneath the crabapple was kind of a game changer to this space. I mean, you couldn't even see, this is phlomis, I think is what it's called. Look at how cool that is. Oh my gosh. It's the coolest plant. Oh geez, there's a weed in here. What in the absolute world? There we go, got it. Anyway, you couldn't really see this. You couldn't see, this is a pinky winky, I think, hydrangea. You couldn't really see it because there were 2 more Amsonia right in front of it. And then along with the Amsonia, there was a bunch of thrift, which I ended up pulling out because it looks an awful lot like grass, and there was so much grass growing up through it. It was kind of getting hard to control. So now we can let this Amsonia kind of fill back in and just kind of shine all on its own. I mean, this shows you how big these get. Now this one needs a little iron. You can see some of the foliage starting to yellow, but they get quite good size. So I went in with some of the unplugged white salvia. I had 5 left, and I think they just glow in that space. They get a huge block of morning sun. So we're here in mid-afternoon at this point. There's the Virtuoso Pinkerific, I think, dahlia right here. So there's kind of a drift that goes through here. And then the Scaevola Stardiva Pink. And I used all the rest of them that I had. So they start over there by the Amsonia and they kind of cruise around through here. I had a couple of random plants left over. The Frosted Violets Kufia and one of the Heliotrope. We just used the others by the back kitchen entrance. Then I popped 5 Scaevola right there. And then as you go around the corner here, I put some of the Dayglow Yellow dahlias along with Queen Tut grasses. Just kind of popped here and there throughout this space. And the Stardiva White Scaevola. So pretty. I do have some Supertunia Mini Vista Yellow. I thought I might pop some in around this area. I don't know. It's tempting. But I have to say, I love having this crabapple tended to. It needed to be done a while ago. So that's the first area of annuals. Let's run over to the last area. That does it for trees, these last 2 right here. Boy, that's what, 10 trees today? Pretty good. And we've got, oh, I don't know, 5 or 6 days left in the high 80s before it's supposed to get pretty hot. So that gives them a little break before they have to contend with heat, but they're gonna do way better in the ground than they would ever do in nursery containers trying to get through that heat. It's easier on the tree, and it's easier on us trying to keep their root ball moist and cool. Here we are underneath the ash tree and the blue spruce. It's just glorious under here. It feels so nice. And this is the last spot where I popped a bunch of annuals in. You might remember, in fact, let's show you a little before, maybe when we put the pillar in, because we just did that in order to highlight this 2025 recipe. Right here, everything's looking good so far, but there was nothing, like no little things planted in here. It was pretty open. So I came in with this coleus, which is mini something chartreuse, mini-me chartreuse. I don't know, something along those lines. It grows 12 to 20 inches tall. So it's not huge like the Lime-Time coleus can get upwards of like 40, 48 inches tall. So this one stays a little bit more controlled in its growth. I love the pop of color it brings back here. And I didn't want anything that would be too big to plant in front of these Miss America hostas, which are just phenomenal. I think, is this hosta of the year for next year? I think it is. Boy, they're a good one. We've got 5 of them in here and they're just amazing. Just planted them last year. And then I went in with some Rocopoco impatiens. There's some hot pink, there's some apple blossom. So this is an area that we're gonna have to really keep our eyes on, because impatiens are kind of weenies when it comes to water. They like a lot of it. So it's gonna be on our schedule to check it twice a day, even though it's on drip. Paul got this all set up on drip this morning and I can see it looks lovely right now. It's nice and moist right here. So anyway, I'm hoping that these do really well. The white impatiens we planted under the golden rain tree just kind of melted. And it's not because they were in too much sun, but I think it's just, I don't know, maybe they weren't getting enough water, but they also don't have any protection right there. So they get quite a lot of the wind, and that could be it. So we'll see. And then I topped it off with a little bit of the Stardiva white scavola right here. Now, when I planted this area, this is a Gatsby Gal hydrangea, oak leaf, and it's amazing. I love it. But there was a very distinct shade versus sun line in here, and I think this ash tree has grown because now that line has moved over. So I had planted this ginger wine 9-bark thinking, well, this is going to be perfect because it can handle the full sun. But now it's kind of like reaching. I don't know, we might have to do a little moving eventually. And our Russian sage is kind of like popping that way too. But just look at this area. Oh, having this little pocket for shade stuff is just amazing. And one day we're going to have that out in the south garden. Aaron and I, when we were going around initially, because I don't even think I filmed it, but I just called Aaron and I said, hey, do you want to jump in the gator? Let's just run around and see where we need trees. See if there's any spots out here where we could use them. The only spot that's really left out there that we could use any kind of tree with any sort of size is that little kind of corner section that I pulled the blue spruce out. Well, Millad Tree Farm pulled the blue spruce out of because it wasn't quite centered and it wasn't really the look I wanted right there. Anyway, so we left that little spot open, and I can't decide if I want to go in with deciduous or evergreen, but that's our only spot that we really have. Otherwise, if we put too many big things out there, eventually it will be overplanted. And right now I think we've got enough space for all the trees to do their thing and hopefully get the look that we want in the end. It's just going to take some time. But I really look forward to the day where we can do more hostas and more ferns and more things like that, because I just love it, and it's refreshing to be in areas like that. You know, in high desert you kind of need it. And when I see houses there's houses all around us with no trees. Nobody plants trees. Not nobody. A lot of people don't plant trees, and I can understand, you know, trees are work and that sort of thing, but oh my gosh, they add so much value to your space, especially in hot climates, because it actually makes your space usable, and it creates rooms too, which I like. I like that this area at this point feels like a little bit of a room, and eventually we'll get there with the garden out there. And that's the kind of garden I grew up in. It's like this very mature, I mean, I don't remember it when it wasn't mature because I was too young, but what I remember of it most is that all of these trees were just big and glorious and made you feel cozy, and I just love that feel. So we'll get that, except for the big lawn. Aaron's expansive grass that he loves. And you guys, that is gonna do it for today's projects. I'm so thrilled with what we got done. Love the Boxwoods by the Hartley. We've been by it several times today, so I've been able to look at them. Love the 10 trees in. That's 10 less trees that myself or Bethany has to water every single day, and sometimes twice a day. And then the 2 areas. Just wanted to make sure you saw the annuals as they went in, not as they went in, but right after they went in, so it's kind of a before shot. And then we'll update you on those later on. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.